Well, I really have absolutely no way to describe what I just saw. I hope I'm started. I did. A 23-5 pasting of the New York Mets by the Washington Nationals. And of course, the big story today is Anthony Rendon with 3 homers and 10 RBI. He is the 13th player in Major League history to have double-digit RBIs in a game. The record is 12, set by Mark Whiten back in 1993. He had a 4-home-run game. But Rendon fell a triple short of the cycle. That's how good they were today. My goodness, there is so much to go over. Let's go right to the box score so I can stop looking at myself. Matt Albers, by the way, gets the win. It's his first with the Nationals. He goes to 1-0. Noah Syndergaard gets the loss. We'll talk about him in a few moments. He's 1-2 on the year. I saw the score and almost said Redskins. The Nationals score 23 runs on 23 hits and have no errors. The Mets, 5 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors. And to think, when this started, we had the news that Adam Eaton not only had the torn ACL in his left knee, but did the meniscus as well and a high ankle sprain. So he's likely gone for the rest of the year. I mean, they were talking during the telecast today about him possibly being ready for the playoffs if the Nats get there. But that's just so far out of that concept is just so far beyond me, having friends who have done, the ACL and the meniscus tear, that I think it's just wishful thinking. To Joe Ross, who just really couldn't get anything going today, to sit there and realize that 3.5 hours later, we'd have a Washington blowout. I mean, the Nationals have dropped the first 2 games of this series. You ready for this box score? Normally, I don't read it verbatim, but Jason Worth, by the way, I don't know how many pitches he ended up seeing. He was at 19. He'd seen 19 pitches at some point today. 2 for 4 with a 2-run scored and a walk. Harper, 2 for 4. He scored 4 times today with an RBI. I believe one of those was his home run. He homered off a Kevin Plawecki in the 8th inning. Ryan Zimmerman's hitting .420. 3 for 5. 2 RBI and 3 runs today. Murphy, 2 for 4 with an RBI and 3 runs. He's hitting .343. Anthony Rendon, 6 at-bats, 5 runs, 6 hits, 10 RBI, no walks, no strikeouts, and surprisingly, he didn't leave anyone on base. Now hitting .278. Even Michael Taylor today, 2 for 6 with 2 runs and 2 RBI. Matt Wieters, lost in this was his multiple home run game today. He went 3 for 4 with 4 RBI and 2 runs scored. Even Joe Ross had an RBI today because he had a base hit. In runners in scoring position today, the Washington Nationals went 9 for 17. Imagine having 17 chances and they converted on more than half. They stranded 7. It could have been worse. Okay, extra base hits today. This is a long list. It's kind of like the old, after, waiting to see if your school closed in the morning during a snowstorm thing. Turner with a double. Rendon with a double, his 3rd. Zimmerman with a double, his 8th. And Murphy with a double, his 9th. That was off of Josh Smoker, who did some chin music to him. And Murphy, who you rarely see get upset, had to walk around just to get his head back together. And so he didn't go to the mound and pound Smoker. The home runs. Rendon with 3 today. The first off of Gil Martin in the 3rd, a solo shot. In the 4th, the second off of Gil Martin, a 3-run blast. And the 8th off of poor Kevin Plawecki, a solo shot. Matt Wieters with 2 today, and he now has 4 on the year. A 6th-inning shot off of Smoker, a solo shot, and then another one off of Smoker in the 7th. Bryce with a home run in the 8th, his 9th of the year, a solo shot, and Adam Lind, who made a 2-run shot in the 8th. Oh, my goodness. Anthony Rendon had 16 total bases today. Wieters had 9. RBI, Zimmerman with his 2 has 29. That's a team record. Rendon has 15 in the month of April with his 10 RBI performance today. Remember, last April, he had 1 for the entire month. And on a Murphy with 26, Harper with 26, Wieters 4 puts him up to 12. Yes, we told you this offense was very good. I can't imagine 9 for 17 in runners in scoring position. The reason why, well, the Mets had to go to the pen early. Noah Syndergaard, 1/3 of one and a third innings. Remember, he rejected an MRI earlier this week, and so he felt better. The Mets said, okay, go ahead and pitch on Sunday. He grimaced on one pitch and then pretty much walked off the mound on his next pitch and was lit up. I mean, Washington got 5 in the first. His fastball had nothing on it. I mean, he was throwing them at 98, 99, 100 miles an hour, but absolutely nothing on those, movement on the fastballs. 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 and a third innings. What happens when you read too fast? 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 2. Then the Mets bullpen just was hammered. Gil Martin, 2 and 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned. Salas, who makes Blake Trinan pitch fast, through an inning, 3 runs, all earned. Smoker gave up 2 home runs himself. And Kevin Plawecki, God bless him, the catcher, backup catcher, just took 1 for the team. He went 2 innings. He retired the Nationals on 10 pitches in his first inning, but then the 3 homers, the 4 runs, all earned, and the 4 hits. Joe Ross, as we said, had a horrible day. Just couldn't locate anything, nothing on the slider whatsoever. 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, all earned. He walked 1 and struck out 5. The homers to Rene Rivera in the second and Jay Bruce in the third. And then the bullpen actually threw, 5 innings of scoreless baseball. They needed 15 hits, and they allowed 3 base runners. So the Mets just never really even threatened. Matt Albers gets his first win, as I said, 2 great innings. He struck out 3 and allowed a hit. Ali Perez, if you thought that Albers and Perez were the best 2 out of the pen this year, back when this season started, you're nuts, because that wasn't the case. Anyway, Perez with a strikeout and a hit allowed. Joe Blanton with a huge clean inning in the 8th. He struck out 2, and same with Blake Trinan. Do I get pitch counts? I do down here. Albers threw 31 pitches for 20 strikes. Perez, 14 pitches, 12 strikes. Blanton, 17 pitches, 11 strikes. And Trinan struggled. He pitched had 15 pitches and allowed 8 and threw 8 strikes. It took 3 hours and 37 minutes to get this one in. And, as far as a record set outside of Rendon's record-setting 10 RBI game, the 23 runs is an all-time franchise record. The record for Washington was 17. They did it against Baltimore a few years ago, and the Montreal Expos scored 21 against Colorado on April 28th, 1996. Those records have been shattered by that. So the Nationals closed the month in first place. I forgot the record. They're 17-8, which is amazing. 5 runs in the first, run in the third, 4 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth, 5 in the seventh, and 4 in the 8th. That's just unfathomable. All right, elsewhere in the division, Miami beat Pittsburgh, so the Nationals did not gain any ground on the Marlins. They beat Pittsburgh 10-3, and the Phillies trailed the Dodgers 2-1 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Baltimore and New York are tied at 4 in the bottom of the 10th inning. That game was just a mess as well. But at 23-5, unbelievable. 28 pitches that Worth saw today, Ricky Keeler said, which is the same as Rendon. That's an amazing number, and that's why you would think that they would want to go with Worth number 2 in the batting order, like he was at the second half of last year. He just takes so many pitches. Courtesy of the Nance, Harper broke a franchise record for runs in a month of 32. 32 runs in a month. That's a pace to have over 160. And that passed a record from Larry Walker, who had 30, obviously 31 in 1997 when he was with the Expos. And so, as someone else said on Twitter, the more we can put these Expo records to bed, quicker to put them to bed, the better. So, it was such a strange game to watch because you just didn't know what was so many storylines to happen in the game. The Nationals lost yesterday. It was a close game, but it felt like they were way overmatched, and then they were facing Syndergaard today and blew them out. Absolutely blew them out. 29 in March and April, Ricky says. I think that's the record for runs. If he can, or is that the RBI? If Ricky's, let me know on that, Ricky. 29 RBI. I think that's the RBI record. So just an unbelievable thing. So the lead will be 4 games. They have tomorrow off because the Diamondbacks are in for 3 starting Tuesday. It's 29 runs in March and April. Okay. 3 on Tuesday, starting on Tuesday. Tuesday and Wednesday are night games, and Thursday is a getaway game, an afternoon game before we revisit our old friend Cesar Hernandez and the Philadelphia Phillies. But going into this week, the Nationals have suffered horrific losses, but they really haven't lost anything on the scoreboard. In fact, Rendon was a triple shy of the cycle, which means this week they had 3 players either hit for the cycle or come within a triple of the cycle. They are just so locked in right now. Let's see if anyone has said anything on Twitter. No, but lots of retweets from stuff. Let's take a quick look at what happened in the minor leagues today. And Hagerstown won 16. No, it's top of the ninth, 16-4. Noel Franco Noise with homers, but Carter Kieboom is the story. He hit 3 home runs. He now has 5 on the year. The line for Kieboom, 5 for 7 today, 4 runs, 3 homers, 5 RBI. He now has 14 RBI on. There's the camera run. Has 14 RBI on the year. I can't imagine he's going to be playing at Hagerstown much longer. As a team, the Suns have 25 hits today, so they may actually out-hit the big club, which is hard to do when the big club had 23. Some bragging rights there. If you can, we were the high. Oh, come on. High hit total today. Final, Syracuse beats Norfolk to end their road trip 7-6. Greg Ross with a win, 1-1 on the year. Rafael Martin gets the save, his second. Brandon Snyder and Brian Goodwin get homer for Syracuse. I know that Joe Nathan was trying for the save. Corbin Joseph, by the way, went 4 for 5. He did not. He went 2/3 of the inning, 2 hits, a run it was earned. He walked 2 and struck out 1. So his ERA is 9.53. That does not bode well for him being called up. But Martin, his second save. As you look at the big bald spot on the back of my head. Harrisburg loses to Altoona in AA Eastern League Baseball 3-2. Along with a loss, 2-3 with the 2.20 ERA. No home runs for the Senators today. And Salem down Potomac 5-4. Held with a loss. He goes to 0-1. No homers for Potomac. All right, so that's an amazing, amazing ball game. I've never seen anything like it. I suppose, Al, our good friend Al, Red Sox fan, just left. There was the playoff series where the Red Sox put 24 up on Cleveland to stay alive in the series. But as far as domination by one player, Rendon just had one of the greatest games in Major League history. When you go from 5 RBIs to 15 in one game, that's amazing. All right, so 1-2 on the homestand. A day off tomorrow. The news from Eaton is, as we said earlier, it's a torn left ACL and meniscus, along with a high ankle sprain. Surgery has not been scheduled, but he will need to undergo it. The typical healing time for that is 6 to 9 months. There is an outside chance a very outside chance that if the Nationals make the playoffs, he could play, but I would not put any faith in it. So the Diamondbacks come in for 3. We'll have a piece on it on Tuesday, 5 players to watch from Chris Lacey. We'll have more on District on Deck on Rendon's performance tonight. Tomorrow, Ricky Keeler, our co-editor, has collated the 5 best quotes this month from Dusty Baker. We hope you enjoyed that, because Ricky had a lot of fun putting that together, along with other stuff. And so that's it. So the Nats salvaged just 1 game out of the 3 against the Mets, but it's a mind-blowing game. It really is. The final score tonight from Washington on this hot, muggy April 30th, the Nationals 23, the Mets 5. For Ricky Keeler and the rest of us at District on Deck, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube, a like on Facebook, and follow us always at District on Deck. I'm Ron Juckett. Good night.